is Agatha, also known as Koko. Does she look familiar? Koko's in her mid-70s, and a few months ago, her daughter nominated her to be featured on a brand new series on this channel called the Takeover series. In the Takeover series, I go into my subscribers' homes, I look through their beauty products, we toss what isn't working, we keep what is, and then we go shopping for better products, better formulas, better colors, a fully customized kit just for her. In Koko's story, I not only gave her a makeup takeover, but I also gave her a haircut transformation. And that's actually what you guys saw a few weeks ago. Because of the overwhelming demand I got on that video requesting a tutorial of her makeup look, this video was born. Today I'm gonna walk you through this beautiful, soft, and romantic daytime look that's really perfect for a woman in her 70s and beyond. Let's go. Our very first step in any makeup application, especially in mature makeup application, but really in any makeup application, is of course skin prep. We want to make sure that the skin is supple and moist and really hydrated before we put anything else on top of it. So in order to hydrate Koko's skin, I use the City Beauty Advanced Action Sculpting Cream. I really like the consistency of this cream because it's quite rich, but it's not so oily and heavy that it breaks down the makeup later. After that, I moved on to protection. For the sunscreen today, I used a product called ONESKIN Shield Protect and Repair. It's an SPF of 30+. So this is a mineral sunscreen. It comes in tinted and in a non-tinted version. Now, normally for a woman like her, I would pick the untinted version, but I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to do almost like an underpainting technique where I added a little bit of warmth and a little bit of color to the skin before going on top of it with the foundation. Basically what that's gonna do is just going to warm up the complexion so that we have less work to do later on. As we age, we lose a lot of color, and one way to bring that vibrancy back into the face quite easily is just by adding that warmth. So we did that warmth as our first step in the makeup application today. We almost use the sunscreen as like a makeup product in an underpainting style technique. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Basically, all it's doing is adding a little bit of warmth so we have less work to do later. It's gonna make her look more youthful after the fact. Now, Agatha let me know that she struggles with rosacea. Okay, rosacea can be quite challenging. When I looked at her on this day, on application day, I could tell that her rosacea wasn't flaring up. She's got the tiniest little bit of pink in her cheeks, but it actually looks quite lovely. It doesn't look inflamed or flared up at all, but I did want to give her some techniques, and I want to give you guys some techniques in case you struggle with redness and rosacea, because it's something that is very, very common. Some insecurities with redness in here, right? And that's because you have rosacea, you said? So you can hide rosacea really easily by using a corrector. So you need a green corrector. There's two kind of products that you can use for this. You can actually get a color correcting palette like this one from NYX, which is also a drugstore brand. Aww. Yeah, and you can take the green and you can stipple it in the red areas. You don't have an excessive amount of redness, so I would go in with a correcting primer. So this is a primer. So what a primer does is it makes your makeup last longer, extends your makeup wear time, fills in fine lines and wrinkles and pores. But this one also evens out and blurs redness. Okay. Now let's move on to prepping the eyes for shadow. If you lift your chin up, you can see that in here we have like some discoloration. And that's because the skin here is so thin that the veins shine through it. So the first thing we have to do is make all of this one color and have it totally satin based that we can blend shadows on top of it. So you can do that with something called an eyelid primer, but if you don't want to have like 1,000 products, you can easily also do that with concealer and then set it with a powder. Can you see the difference between that eye and that eye? So this is the thing, cream products move. As soon as a cream product gets in contact with the heat of your face, it's gonna move into crevices. So because there's a lot of folding in the eye area, if I didn't set this, it would all of a sudden start creasing heavily in here. So what you have to do is grab a powder and you need to push the powder into the cream and make this a satin finish product. So it's gonna turn from a cream to a satin finish, and satin finish products don't move. And that's how you prime your eyes, and then you can start building products on top of them to contour and shape them. Now that the lids are primed and ready, we can move on to creating illusions that we want on the eyes by using shadow, using highlight and contours and shadows. It's a really great way to kind of create different illusions in the eyes that we want. So if you look at my eyes today, I created the illusion that my eyes lift and tilt upwards, right? By shading it that way. So I wanted to teach Agatha some techniques that were really great for her specific concerns and needs.
So you have a little bit of hooding here, which is completely normal. Almost everyone has this. So what we want to do is add a matte shadow here, and we want to work in windshield wiper motions. It should be a mid-tone matte shadow, and that's going to recede that back. I'm going to use, on you, I'm going to use mauvey tones. And the reason I'm choosing that is because you have very cool hair, right? You have white hair and you have very cool eyes. So I'm gonna go into like a sort of purpley family that's really gonna suit you because your hair is cool, your eyes are cool, purple's cool. So it's gonna create like a monochromatic look.
So the palette that we are using today is the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals. This is a beautiful neutral palette to buy, especially if you don't have a lot of shadows. If you are a beginner in the shadow world, if you get this palette, you're gonna be able to create a lot of really beautiful daytime looks with it. It's also a drugstore, so it's not very expensive. It performs extremely well in terms of pigment payoff, and it has like next to no fallout. It has very, very little fallout, especially for a drugstore product, so I highly recommend that. I started by dipping into that mid-tone mauve-based pink, and I carved out the crease using windshield wiper motions and a fluffy crease brush, and then after that, I dipped into a slightly deeper tone and went on top of that just to build up the gradients of dimension in the crease.
So do you see the illusion I created?
I do.
So because you have a little heaviness here, I created a shadow to push it back. And then I created light on the lid to bring the lid forward. Now to emphasize that even more, we can then go in with a flat brush and we can go in with a really light tone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool, right?
After I was finished working with the shadow, I just cleaned up any fallout, and then I was ready to start working on the skin. Okay, for the foundation today, I used L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I absolutely love this foundation. This foundation is so similar to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I'd almost say that it's a dupe for it. It's got a really glowy, kind of satin, radiant finish. It's lovely, and it's way, way, way less expensive than the Armani one. It's a fraction of the cost. It's also long wear while being luminous, which is actually really hard to find. Usually long wear formulas are more matte, and radiant formulas don't last long. This one's long wear and it's radiant, so this is really, really good for dry skin. I find it exceptional for dry, mature skin.
So you want to start in the middle of the face because that's where you want the most coverage. When I'm trying to build up a little coverage, I pat. When I'm trying to sheer out the coverage, I sweep. Now with white hair, you have to be careful that you don't collect product in this area, right? So start here and then make sure you're really getting sheer when you're getting to the exterior parts of the face. So any area that you have discoloration, you want to stipple. Stipple, stipple. So if you have a little redness on the cheek, you stipple.
Okay, if you are wondering what makeup brush I am using in this clip, this is by a brand that I just discovered called Refer. Okay, these are Japanese hand-cut brushes, and they are truly a work of art. They are exceptional. I just got a full set of them. I'm going to be talking about them a lot more in future videos because they are such beautiful, completely unique, handcrafted, incredible brushes. I was just on the website yesterday and I actually discovered that there's a sale going on right now for a few weeks in April where the entire store is 40% off. So check my description box below. I'm going to leave links for you guys in case you're curious. I'll leave links for different brushes, eye brushes, face brushes, concealer brushes. All the links will be there. If you want new brushes and you want something very unique and very, very special, then definitely hop on the 40% sale right now. Okay, let's move on to under eye circles. So in order to conceal some of the darkness under her eyes, I actually use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This is really nice because it has like a convenient sponge tip applicator. You can just dab it on. Something else that I really love about it is that it's made specifically for dark circles, so the consistency of the concealer isn't too thick. When you get really thick concealers around the eyes, it really emphasizes texture and fine lines and wrinkles. This is nice because it definitely cuts the darkness out significantly, but it's a really convenient product to use under the eyes. It's quick and easy. It's perfect for beginners. Now, when you are working under the eyes, just make sure that you are stippling that coverage. So you're applying that to the dark zone, but instead of rubbing it, you are using patting motions, okay? That patting motion is going to build the coverage in the areas where it needs it. Now let's move on to adding some warmth to the face, okay? When I am working with mature skin, I always like adding bronziness to the face or warmth to the face using a cream-based bronzer. Cream-based products, in my opinion, work much better on mature skin than powder products. Powder products can really sallow out the skin, can make things look really dry, and can really age someone. Cream-based products do the opposite. They add that glow, that warmth, that vibrancy that you see in children's skin. So you're trying to create that illusion of youthfulness. So we want to bring back those things that youthful people have, right? And that's typically warmth, glow, a little bit of dewiness and vibrancy and color, okay? Those are the main staples that's going to make someone look much more youthful in their makeup application. The cream-based bronzer that I'm using here is the one by Chanel. Now, I recognize that this is a very expensive bronzer. It comes in a massive pan, so it is worth getting, but I'll also pop up some dupes on the screen, okay? And I'll leave some dupes in the description box below in case you want a cream-based bronzer, but you want to try something a little bit more affordable first. Let's move on to brows. Now, I needed to sketch in a little bit of a shape here. I didn't want them to be too harsh on her. I didn't want to overdo it. I just wanted to give her a little bit more definition on what she already has going on. Now, when you are putting on your brows, you want to make sure to always use a spoolie. You always need a spoolie when you're working with brows because the spoolie softens out the pigment in the pencil, okay? So as you can see, I'm sketching them on. I'm kind of defining and figuring out my shape. And then I immediately go in with the spoolie to powder it out, to soften it out so it doesn't look too waxy or too harsh on the face. Now, to define her eyes, I wanted something that was very complementary to the blue. So if you have really blue eyes and you don't want to do something that's too harsh, there are so many different things that you can do that will really make your blue eyes pop. I did an entire video on how to make your eye color pop using different eyeshadow and makeup colors. But for this case, again, I wanted something soft that was defined but natural and daytime appropriate. So I actually chose a really warm teddy bear brown. And the reason that I chose that over, say, a charcoal, for example, charcoal would have looked really good as well. But I chose brown in this case because she has blue eyes, and blue and orange are opposite on the color wheel. And the brown that I chose had like an orange base to it. It was a really warm brown. So it really brings out the blue in the eyes, right? Orange and blue, they always look great. That's why copper-based shadows always look amazing on people with blue eyes. But in this case, just for definition, I brought out that warmth in the brown liner to then bring attention and bring out her eyes. After that, I went in with that same contour color that I used on the eyelid and I shaded out under her lashes. I really like doing that. I almost always use my first color, my contour color, my transition color under the lashes. It really helps to bring the entire eye look together. For blush, okay, I've shown this on the channel before because I am in love with this blush. This is so beautiful. This is the blush by Winky Lux. The color that I used on her is color Tea Time, which is that really beautiful, cool based pink, which is perfect for this type of complexion with the cool hair and the cool skin, the cool eyes. That cool base pink really brings light to the face, but does it in a way that's very harmonious and complementary. Now let's talk about lips. Lips is, in my opinion, the most underrated, most impactful thing that you can do in a makeup application to take your look from okay to amazing. As we get older, we start losing our vermilion border in our mouth and our lips kind of fade away. We don't have the ridge or that definition that we used to have when we were younger. One way, again, to make a woman look super polished, super youthful and very vibrant is to add that vermilion border back in. And the only way to do that is not with lipstick, but it's actually with lip liner. Using a really great lip liner, actually drawing on that youthful shape. Even if you feel like you don't have that shape, that's okay. Go a little out of the lines, draw on that youthful shape using a color that's vibrant and going to add that beautiful light to your face again, and then fill your entire lip line in with it. I know that some people get worried about using lip liner and then eating and having that like line around their mouth that looks really silly. So a way to get around that is actually to fill your whole lip line in. And then the lip gloss that you use on top or the lipstick that you use on top is just that moisture product. It's that product that's going to give some richness and vibrancy and creaminess to the lips, but all of the work, all of the color, all of the shaping is actually done with the lip liner. I challenge you to try it and to leave me a comment after you have done it. I am telling you, this one step, even if you do a completely super duper natural application, if you find a great lip liner that kind of matches your lip tone and you carve out your shape and then add a gloss on top, bam, it looks phenomenal. I'm telling you, you are going to feel and look phenomenal. Lip liner is the answer to everything in my life. I love lip liner. This is what Agatha looks like when she came into the studio with her own makeup on. This is what she looked like with no makeup on. And this is how she looked after I created a custom application just for her. She looked really natural and beautiful, but most importantly, she felt confident, because that's really all that matters, right? At the end of the day.
Oh my word. Wow. Oh, you did an awesome job.
Koko, who are you?
Get a little.
You belong on the red carpet. Like, get out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're so welcome.
I gotta get up and hug you.
Oh my gosh, of course. Oh, thank you so much for sharing yourself with me.
Thank you.
I really do hope that this video reminds you to prioritize yourself, to truly see yourself, and to take time for your own self-care. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you feel beautiful. This video's over.